prevent that command center at least from coming up as quickly as should. Barracks again being floated. Barracks was originally just being used to position there, but now he's going to float the barracks to attempt to attack those dragoons. That shuttle takes a couple of shots from the turret, so that's not going to do anything. That SCV gonna get killed by those dragoons. Meanwhile, that barracks being used to spot for that tank. Those tanks shelling those dragoons. The dragoons just standing there, being an aggressive action. Meanwhile, more dragoons are moving out for free. Should be able to meet those vultures as they're in transit and using pylons to block off the entrance into his second natural. That's pretty smart there by Free. That 9 o'clock should be unharassed for a while. Meanwhile, mines being placed all over the place to slow down and prevent maneuverability for Free. But there is an observer there. There are dragoons. The dragoons are not able to move out quite as fast, but should still, with the amount of dragoons there, should be able to move out pretty fast. Meanwhile, a starport coming up from Leta, so he's going to go for drop tech himself. We're going to see how far this transitions. I still don't see Free pushing in. He definitely doesn't have enough forces, and Leta's defending pretty well, although he's not getting up his second expansion, so Free's doing a pretty good job of preventing that with nothing but a few dragoons on the dropship. And again, moving in from natural as well, so he has dragoons in 2 positions, and dropping his zealots right into fire, seeing if he can do any sort of damage. A turret, meanwhile, being set up near that natural expansion, so we're going to see if Freeze actually might be trying to do a flank, trying to make those tanks move into those dragoons, and meanwhile flanking them from behind. I think that's a pretty dangerous notion, but at the same time could be pretty effective. Those tanks moving in, going to see how far they siege. Leta just testing them now, losing a dragoon meanwhile, and Vulture's trying to move out again, but being prevented by those dragoons that Free has planned outside. He has a lot of dragoons everywhere near his base. We're going to see how aggressive he's going to take the shuttle with zealots inside, still inside. I don't see any reavers or robotics support meanwhile for Free, so we're going to see how that happens. Still 4 dragoons alive and a Goliath now, so the shuttle is going to prevent it. Observer get taken out. I think actually no, maybe I think that might have been a probe. Free maybe feeling safe enough to expand again. And okay, no robotic support, but just an Arbiter Tribunal, and already a Templar Archives out in the field. So we're going to have Templar out, and we're going to see whether they have Dark Templar drops or even High Templar drops. Although against Terrans, the Dark Templar drop is actually slightly more effective because it takes more storms to kill SCVs. SCVs with their larger amount of health can move away and survive, while drones and probes die a little bit quicker. Doesn't change the fact that it still takes only a couple of hits. Ooh, mines, unfortunately walking right into the mine, trying to clear without an observer there. Just trying to clear the middle, giving himself a little bit more maneuverability. Leta now has a slight advantage in that he has had 3 mining bases for a while now. I don't know if he's picked up his 3rd gas. He's just been pumping nothing but dragoons at this point. He has a few zealots out there as well, but now he's going for higher tech. He's going to have arbiters out there pretty soon, so I think actually a second Stargate also, so Leta might be gunning for science vessels actually if he doesn't have drop tech out pretty soon. Again, Vulture's being caught in transition, so it's pretty bad there for Leta, trying to harass as much as he can, but Free doing a pretty good job learning from Guenchi's mistakes. Those vultures have been going to be caught, but those vultures do get some scouting information if nothing else. Vultures are one of those forces for Terrans that are pretty much expendable. They're pretty cheap, you don't do them much damage, and they harass pretty well. They're maneuverable, pretty much the only maneuverable unit that the Terrans have. So all in all, being used pretty well for that, just scouting and also seeing where the forces are of Free. Free has so many dragoons everywhere. We're going to see if they walk into the mines! Oh! Don't quite, just manage to just prevent walking into the mine, and vultures all get taken out, so that's not very good for Leta there. Leta using a lot of money for those vultures and not engagement again, setting up even more probes, however, just being taken out, so he's doing a pretty good job there, killing any probes that, oh man, again, how many, 3 probes now being killed there by Leta? Free just trying to expand again to get that 4th base going to support his Arbiter tech. But Leta doing a pretty good job of preventing that. Now, dragoons just moving around everywhere, trying to kill as many mines as they can. And there's vultures, of course, doing a pretty good job of that, at least. Leta has meanwhile taken his 3rd natural, and he should be mining at this point. So the more Leta prevents Free from getting his next gas and his next mining base, the more he equals out. Again, probes moving around. 2 this time. One of it gets taken down. The other does survive. So I think now finally Free should be able to get down his 4th base. So Leta, wow, delayed that for such a long time. I didn't actually see a command center at that second natural of Leta's. I don't know if he has a lot of force there, but I don't know if he actually put down anything else. Science facility is up, so we're going to see science facility pretty soon. He's going to need those EMPs against those arbiters because, wow, so many dragoons out there, and they're going to have a lot of arbiter scan now going off, so definitely going to see the arbiter and those two arbiter tribunal, those two stargates. First arbiter now is out. We're going to see whether he's just going to try to push in with those, or he goes for some sort of recall. Recall will be pretty effective and would damage Leta pretty heavily, and he should still have plenty of forces enough to defend in case Leta decides to counter by pushing. Although Leta using such interesting, now it has a dropship out there and has a lots of tanks. This is what he really loves doing, just using those vultures primarily to run around, harass as much as possible, and just getting a sizable tank force before he even thinks of pushing. Pylons blocking off those vultures, so they're not going to be able to get in. And meanwhile, trying to get his own expansion going. And I think Free might have actually double expanded there, trying to put Nexus up in two partitions. I don't know if I quite saw that too well. Again, Vulture is now just being running around trying to be as harassment as can. So yeah, Free isn't dead, trying to get up two expansions. That one Nexus there might be prevented. Just mines being planted everywhere. They're definitely not going to be able to take Nexus before Morpheus. And again, moving in on more forces there. One Dragoon there to defend, nothing else. Meanwhile, Free, however, is moving in with more Dragoons to try to kill these Vultures off. You saw those Vultures don't do a lot of damage, so the Dragoon actually managed to get off like 3 to 4 shots, maybe even 5, before he finally got killed by that mass of Vultures. Vultures, see? Oh, managed to take out one probe. Seeing if he managed to get another. Oh, he definitely, yeah, did manage to take out one probe. Interesting enough, used a scan there to make sure that there were probes in that was a probe going off there. So, if nothing else, Leta's definitely being very good on his harassment. It's very good play by him, preventing Free from moving out and doing what he wants to. Dropship, meanwhile, coming in. He's definitely going to get a drop in. Gets a spot and drops a couple of Vultures there and a tank as well. So, that's going to be, that location is going to be harassed. Already a couple of probe kills, 3 or 4 probe kills so far. More probe kills, tanks sieging and even killing him. More probes, Free slight weight reactions, and any probes that run away also being killed. High Templar moving in here. We're going to see if he manages to get off a storm. No, he dies before that happens. Zealots are moving in. Large, sizable force there by of Leta's. We're going to see an engagement here. Arbiters moving in. I don't see anything really stasis field going off on several forces, and now Free moving in a lot, and Leta being forced to fall back. Another stasis field going off on even more tanks. So pretty good job being done here, but Leta pushing in pretty well with his own forces. Storms going off as well, so a lot of tanks being lost here, and just good stasis jobs there. I don't know if Leta wants to push it. Has lost a few of his pushing forces. Oh, Leta losing a little bit too much there, not quite feeling too confident of pushing in completely. Moved in right into Leta's tank line there. Should have been able to just do us pushing in a little bit slower. Leta now moving a little bit more forward with those tanks. There's so many tanks all shooting off at once. Wow. Science vessel also there, going to be able to spot those vulnerable forces now. Free being just a little bit too aggressive, losing too many forces, too many Dragoons and Zealots. So that wasn't quite what I wanted. Science facility, meanwhile, was upgrading something. Might be EMP, might be mana upgrade. I call it mana, you can call it energy, whatever you want. Mana, energy. Not enough energy! Right. It could be another engagement. So many arbiters, meanwhile, out. So we're going to definitely see a lot of stasis fields. I don't know how many upgrades they have yet. They definitely have stasis. They should have also either recall or a energy upgrade, if not both. Could be fully upgraded at this point. We actually, Free already slightly losing advantage here. Has to be a little bit more careful because he's lost a lot. He has expanded twice, but he doesn't have too many forces. That push there was prevented, and meanwhile he had one of his naturals completely harassed. So many probes of those taken out. Meanwhile now Free going to move into this natural, but one probe they're mining is going to be able to take out those pylons.